Welcome back everyone. Many of us know it, scrolling through social media or watching TV and only seeing the successful entrepreneurs, artists, scientists, athletes, or even our old high school colleagues who made it in life. Whatever area or topic we are interested in, we only see the successes. We ask ourselves, why not we? It looks all doable to achieve those successes because there are so many of them. And now, before the survivorship bias takes more control of us, let's consider two questions. What is with the rest of the 99% of entrepreneurs, authors, athletes, scientists, etc. who are not successful? What is with the rest of the 99% of our high school colleagues? What are the odds that we can achieve it, considering not only the successes but also the failures? The survivorship bias occurs when only successful or surviving examples are considered, while failures or not surviving examples are not. This can lead to a distorted view of reality. This distorted view of reality can lead to an overconfident or optimistic belief that the chances of a particular success are way higher than they are in reality. Basically, with the survivorship bias, we often see the world differently than it is, only considering the successes and ignoring the failures. This leads to that we make decisions with little data. Let's consider the two questions from before. Where are the rest of the 99%? Many are not successful or on the graveyard of trying to be. The media doesn't report on them. They don't report on themselves, which makes them invisible. Not many will post that they failed. What are the odds that we can achieve a particular success? We assess successes often wrong, thinking it is much more likely than what it really is. When we see 10 entrepreneurs with whom we can identify and see qualities from us in them, we could think we can do it. But we don't see the 1000 failed entrepreneurs who probably also possess the same qualities. What we can see here, or better to say not see here, are those who didn't survive, that they mostly stay invisible to us. Maybe you know the saying, history is written by the winners. And yes, it makes sense because first, the losers often didn't survive, so they couldn't write the books themselves. And second, even if they did survive, most don't write about their failures or losses. So overall, those people stay invisible to us. The following example is one by Rolf Dobelli out of his book The Art of Thinking Clearly. Behind every popular author, you can find 100 other writers whose books will never sell. Behind them are another 100 who haven't found publishers. Behind them are yet another 100 whose unfinished manuscripts gather dust in drawers. And behind each one of these are 100 people who dream of one day writing a book. You, however, hear of only the successful authors and fail to recognize how unlikely literary success is, by Rolf Dobelli. During World War II, the mathematician Airae Wald and his research group had the task of looking at returning damaged aircraft and where to apply additional metal protection. Can't apply metal protection everywhere would be too heavy. The returning aircraft look like this. Red points indicate bullets hit. Now, one could argue that most airplanes who are coming back are hit at the same places, so we give them there more protection. But let's consider the survivorship bias. Those who came back survived. That means even if damaged, they could fly. What is with those on the graveyard, those who didn't make it? Well, Wald advised the military to make extra protection in the areas that were not hit in the surviving ones. Those were likely the ones causing aircraft failure and the not surviving ones. Now we are coming to the point to ask the question how to reduce the survivorship bias. And in direct connection to the Airae Wald example now, Jane Parrish by the blog Farnham Street. Wald's approach is an example of how to overcome survivorship bias. Don't look just at what you can see. Consider all the things that started on the same path but didn't make it. Try to figure out their story, as there's as much, if not more, to be learned from failure, by Jane Parrish. In addition, we can look at the base rates. What are the base rates? Again, by Jane Parrish. When we only pay attention to those who survive, we fail to account for base rates and end up misunderstanding how selection processes actually work. The base rate is the probability of a given result we can expect from a sample, expressed as a percentage. If you play roulette, for example, you can be expected to win 1 out of 38 games or 2.63%, which is the base rate. The problem arises when we mistake the winners for the rule and not the exception. While there is much to learn from them, it would be a mistake to expect the same results from doing the same things, by Jane Parrish. In many biographies and online, we can read about the characteristics and abilities of successful people. There are even studies made about it. Many of us think when we just imitate those characteristics and abilities, we will be the same successful. But this isn't true. They can be necessary, but not sufficient. In his book The Black Swan, Nassim Taleb wrote, "Numerous studies of millionaires aimed at figuring out the skills required for hotshotness follow the following methodology. They take a population of hotshots, those with big titles and big jobs, and study their attributes. They look at what those big guns have in common. Courage, risk-taking, optimism, and so on, and infer that these traits, most notably risk-taking, help you to become successful. Now consider the cemetery. The graveyard of failed persons will be full of people who shared the following traits: courage, risk-taking, optimism, etc. Just like the population of millionaires. There may be some differences in skills, but what truly separates the two is for the most part a single factor: luck." By Nassim Taleb. The survivorship bias influences our view of the world in a wrong way. We neglect those people with the same attributes who failed. The survivorship bias accompanies us everywhere. It is found everywhere in the media, may it be social media or traditional media. It is important for us to look at the whole sample, to take base rates into account and make our decision based on those base rates, instead of looking only at the winners and thinking we are similar to them, or we can be similar to them because we only see them and it is like doable to achieve the same successes. In my opinion, it is really important to be aware of the survivorship bias and take it into account when we make a decision. But at the same time, not to be discouraged when we look at the base rates, even if they are extremely low. Because when no one of us would take risks in order to make this place or like this world a better place, then we would all stagnate. Thank you when you are a risk taker, and in general, thank you for all who took risk and probably also who failed. But much appreciation for both, like those who took risks and are successful, and also for those who took risk and failed. The discouraging fact is that success is never guaranteed. Most businesses fail. Most people do not become rich or famous. Most leaps of faith go wrong. It does not mean that we should not try, just that we should be realistic with our understanding of reality. By Shane Parrish. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and as always, I wish you a fantastic day.